Hello everyone and welcome back to another Fallout Wasteland Warfare Settlement Mode story, and we're just going to jump straight into the Settlement Mode stuff today. And we have 344 caps, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it, but I am going to spend 200 of it on, we come to this side, I'm going to buy a scout camp. That just means we can redraw an explorer card, so we can do that and use that if we get a consequence card that we're not sure how to use, or just something that doesn't fit. You know, so it gives us a legitimate reroll on an Explorer card. So we'll spend 200 on that. It'll be ready for next time. So in the meantime, we still have to draw a foodstuff and 2 Explorer cards. We'll start with the 2 Explorer cards. Just cut. I actually took that from the top of the deck. I won't do that just in case anyone thinks I've loaded it in my favour in some fashion. Although, have you seen how this series has been going? Rad Fire. The rad fires across the swamp was already almost out of control. If you try to put out test int, you can receive some caps and draw 2 items. If you fail, you resolve 1 radiation damage and gain some caps from the ashes. Well, we always say that we're doing these with the Soul Survivor. He can test his int. His int is not... Oh, his int is okay actually, it's 7. Yeah, sure, why not? 7. He failed, so he'll be starting the game with 1 radiation damage. But we did get 27 caps, so, you know, not all bad. Silver, oh, we've done this one so many times. I'm not getting another free set of power armor. That's a bit too generous. Eldorado gas station. This is for grabbing food items, depending on how many times you wait. Roll blue and gain items based on your in-game choice only. I don't need this, so we're just going to ignore it because we're drawing 1 free food stuff anyway from the crop field. We found some bourbon. We've been growing some homemade farm-bred bourbon. I doubt we'll be holding on to that, but it'll go into the pile. So before we hear the overview for today's quest, we just have to sort out what we're bringing into battle with us and what we're leaving behind. 5 taken, 5 left. We're taking the 2 power armors, we're going to need them. And we're going to take the... Let's take the perks again. So that's 2 for 1, so that's 3. Let's take the... You know, today it's probably worth taking just the Hunter's Hunting Rifle and Incendiary Assault Rifle. They're both going to be useful for what we're doing today. Yeah, so that's 2 sets of power armor, 2 guns, and a set of 2 perks. We can only store 5 though, so we're storing this, storing this, storing this, storing this. Bourbon or bottle cap mine. I can't envision a future where either is going to be super useful. But the bottle cap mine has to be more useful. So that bourbon we just home grew back in this New Hope settlement, it's just getting poured out and then discarded, so it'll just get added back into the food deck. So we're going to bring those. I'll show who's equipped with them and whatnot after we hear what we're doing today. Quest 6, Protecting the Caravan. A win will result in 200 caps, a loss in 120. A caravan heading north after stopping in New Hope is worried about the dangers on the road and doesn't have the caps to pay for mercenaries to see them the whole way. The best the settlement can do is escort them to the edge of their territory, and the Brotherhood of Steel is once again available if extra muscle feels like it's required. So you've heard what we're getting up to today. New Hope is bodyguarding some traders out of our territory and only seeing them part way, but they're running into some trouble as is expected. Because of the Brotherhood of Steel just being in the area in general, the super mutant population is very low, but there's a scattering of them at this small section of road, and we're going to try and get through them today. More about that in a second though. Who we're bringing today: the Soul Survivor, Dogmeat, Pennyworth, John. Today though, donning the T60 power armor is going to be the free tech. I'm going to give him a chance in the big old T60 power armor. He's still going to use his combat shotgun. The extra health will keep him more survivable, of course. Doesn't improve his terrible chance to hit, but he's getting a chance to play with it. John doesn't get that power armor. He's not allowed. And then also the Settler, using the correct armor this time, is donning the T45/T51 power armor. She's also been given the Hunter's Hunting Rifle, the Soul Survivor's been given the Incendiary Assault Rifle, and the Soul Survivor's been given the perks. So I think that covers everything. They're going to be deploying in a specific location next to 2 of the traders, but we'll cover that in a moment. And before it is forgotten to be mentioned, by a vote of, at time of recording, 65% on the community tab of the YouTube channel as to whether or not we take Brotherhood of Steel assistance on this mission. We do not. So Recon Squad Shield, they're staying at home today. We do not require them, so we're staying at +2 overall reliance on the Brotherhood of Steel. So here's the table layout we're playing on today, and here are the specifics for what we're doing for this quest. We are joined by 2 models representing the caravan traders. The person in the suit there was actually the Mysterious Stranger model, and then a different scavenger model. They're representing the caravan, don't have the Brahmin miniature, which is a shame because it would be absolutely perfect for this, but don't have it, sorry. But they just want to get across this road. The problem is, there's a destroyed outpost here that probably had some raiders in it at one point, but the super mutants have moved in. Specifically, there's 3 super mutants, 2 with bolt action pipe rifles, 1 with a sledgehammer, mutant hound there, and all the way over here, hidden in the corner because they like not being seen, is a nightkin armed with an incinerator, which is basically a launchable flamethrower. There's some stuff to search as well if we get the chance, but at the end of each turn, those 2 people representing the caravan, they're moving up yellow and then taking a shot if they can. They want to keep out of danger in general, that's how they're going to act, and they're not going to move from the road. Super mutants are just going to try and kill them if they get objective, or if they just get attacked they'll target whoever's closest. And the goal is either wipe out all the enemies or get those 2 traders to this end of the road, at which point they're home and dry and they're out of the territory and free, and that'll count as a win. If they aren't out there by the end of the game, which we'll say is turn 5, or if both of them are dead, then it's counting as a loss, obviously. So as we start the game, there was a couple of things I did forget. I knew there was something. The Soul Survivor has 1 rad damage from that Explorer card, so that's been applied to him. And I didn't mention what the Caravanneers are equipped with. They're going to have 10mm pistols, which again, they have to move once. If they're engaged with a super mutant, they will disengage. They will move yellow at the end of each turn, which does mean that at the end of turn 5, I've just measured it out, they will be within orange of this edge down here, which will be the criteria for them getting out alive. So that should work out. Anyway, randomised who goes first for the super mutants. It was this super mutant with a pipe rifle here. He moved ever so slightly and everyone is out of range, so he did a nice little prepare. I'm activating the settler first. She moved up in her power armor, at which point she would trigger the reaction shot from the super mutant there, so we're going to roll for that first. -2 on this, so it's a 2 or less. He failed just as well, would have done extra damage, and she's taking a shot back at him. Now, those are overly large traffic cones, so I am going to say he's got cover from it. That's why he hid behind it. But she's rolling 2 green at this distance, so it would be 4s or less, and she critted, so that removes the extra armor he gets for being in cover. So that's 3 damage versus his base armor of 1. It's a really good start. He didn't block it, he just took 3 damage. Wow. The super mutant with the sledgehammer activated next, and he didn't go his full second movement. For 1, he couldn't get into charge radius, but 2, that would just leave him in the open for everybody to shoot him. So he stopped short a little bit just so he has cover, both from the girder there, and there is an intervening wall right there, so a bit of extra protection for him. I'm activating the Soul Survivor next. He just moved up yellow through his teammates there, and then did a prepare because I want to make use of the Get Ready perk, just to, 1, to use it, and 2, finally get rid of it. When adding a prepare, also add 1 prepare to a different model within presence and line of sight of initial model, cannot exceed usual maximums. So presumably this is allowed. He has applied it to the settler, so she can fire a reaction shot, because she seems to be doing well so far based on the 1 sample case we have so far. And I can't see anything that says she can't, because she hasn't used the prepare. So even though she's activated, presumably this is okay. So yeah, and that's that boost card finally gone. So the Nightkin activated, so let's quickly cover how they work. They have a special built-in perk called Unpredictable. You roll the blue die when they activate, which I did, and if you get a star, they get kind of souped up for the turn. They get a bunch of extra stuff and they turn super aggressive. They get extra armor, but that didn't happen this time. If you roll a bottle cap and a star, they get stunned, so they can only do 1 thing. If you get anything else in between, they can just activate according to their AI matrix, rather, not matrix. And he wanted to be aggressive, so he moved up. They have a built-in stealth boy as well, but the stealth boy cancels if they attack. So, but he rolled aggressive, so he moved up red. He's got double red on his incinerator, so he's firing it at the settler, which in turn is also going to afterwards, because his stealth boy will wear off after that attack is resolved. It's going to trigger both their long range prepares to shoot back. So first of all, we have to roll for him though. At long range, he's literally just rolling the skill die. Orange range does burn 2 damage, but his skill for this is a 5. Nope, he somehow managed to miss with his incinerator, at which point we have 2 shots back. So at long range, For the settler, it's double greens, and it's down to a 4 on her skill check, which she hits for base damage. So that's just 2 damage versus 1 physical armor. Nope, so that is... she's doing so well. 2 damage to the Nightkin. They have 7 HP. And then the Sole Survivor is going to counter with his Incendiary Assault Rifle at long range. Actually, it's his. Pardon me for the measuring mid-camera, but I'm not 100% sure that's in range. Red plus green? No. Nope. His Prepare has not countered, not activated. I'm activating the free tech now, and if he makes a good enough impression, he's going to get to keep that T60 power armor. He moved up so that cover is no longer an issue, and he's firing at the super mutant that has the sledgehammer there with his combat shotgun point blank. Well, short range, not literally point blank. 2 black dice, but unfortunately his skill is still 3. Ah, that's a shame. It would have done well. Oh well. 2 activations left for the super mutants, and this one up here in the tower is activating. And he wants to do the objective, so he's taking 2 long range shots at the Carabineers. Right at the back there. Now I did forget to cover their stats. I'm treating them just as bog standard settlers stats wise. 1 physical armor, 1 energy armor, and 4 health. And he is hitting them on 4s, I believe. First shot, long range with the... thank goodness that missed, because that could have outright killed them. With the bolt action pipe rifle. Second shot at the Carabineers. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's 3 damage. It was a crit. 3 damage versus 1 armor. Oh dear, one of them is 1 hit away from death. Oh no. I activated John next, since the last one to go for the super mutants is a hound who's not going to get in threat radius of any of my people. Although obviously one of the Carabineers rather, being so close to death already is pretty bad. But to be fair, the super mutants have taken quite a bit of damage too. Either way, John moved up twice because he needs to get in there if he wants to use that 44. So I'm putting him kind of front and center, which might be a mistake. I'll have to activate him early in turn 2. So it wasn't quite true that the Super Mutant Hound couldn't threaten anybody, because I forgot they moved red base, and they have the same charge distance as Dogmeat, so it's long, it's blue. And that was enough to attack the poor free tech. You know, granted he's pretty safe inside that power armor, but it did make it into combat, took a green bonus randomly selected for their charge, if they get the chance to attack next turn, that is. And now it's just over to Pennyworth and Dogmeat. Well, turnabout is fair play because of where the Super Mutant Hound ended their turn. Dogmeat can immediately initiate a charge, so he is. And he's going to smack them with his standard dog bite, a green die extra thrown in for outnumbering, and a black die thrown in as his charge bonus. Looking to really hurt the Hound here on 6s. Yep, it's good. It breaks the 1 armor they have. I think that does do something with the dog bite. The nuke breaks his arm, so he's -2 to his skill checks, and it's 3 damage versus 1 armor. He took the full 3 damage. Wow. Pennyworth moved up his red base, and that put him easily in charge radius and obviously line of sight to charge blue into the super mutant with the sledgehammer there. I'm basically using Pennyworth as this game's version of a distraction Carnifex. Hopefully he's going to be able to hold it at bay until we can get some help. We'll see. I did also forget though, when the Super Mutant Hound finished its charge here, it could have triggered the reaction shot from the Sole Survivor there. So we are going to quickly do that. There is a chance he'll hit the free tech, but the free tech is wearing power armor. And we're going to use the Incendiary Assault Rifle. And we're going to use it at short range because it's right in there. So that's black, green, blue. -2 because of being reaction, but +2 because he's hitting into combat. So it balances out his base stats, which, okay, he hits. So a 1 and a 3 will be the Mutant Hound. Well, beep. Okay. So 1 armor break and 2 damage. Oh, does that set on fire as well? No, a single bottle cap is armor break. Doesn't say anything for a double though. Alright, so it's just -1 armor on the power armor, so it's 2 + 1. So only the +1. So he accidentally did 1 damage to the free tech. Excellent. And the final thing to do prior to the event card for the turn is that the 2 Carabineers, traders, whatever you want to call them, have moved up yellow. They're only allowed to move once per turn. They could take a shot with their 10mm pistols into the Hound, but the combat is now messier. Didn't account for Dogmeat there when the Sole Survivor fired, incidentally, just in case it isn't aware, or you aren't aware, because Dogmeat wouldn't have been there at the point he would have fired. It was when the charge happened, prior to Dogmeat's turn. That's when the reaction could have happened. So either way, not going to fire with them because there's just too much chance of hitting my own guys, and we've actually had quite a few lucky shots. I'm not used to my team landing their hits. It's very, very scary. So let's see if that continues as we go into Battle Round 2. Well, after we see the event, of course. What horrors of the wasteland await? Oop, let's cut it this way, I guess. Vertibirds overhead, aka nothing. So turn 2 is getting started with the Nightkin. They didn't get their good or bad result on their unpredictable roll, whichever. Roll and a roll, because you have to roll for the roll, which is confusing to say. But then they rolled that they wanted to be aggressive, so they're just staying where they are and firing their incinerator twice. They prioritise strong armour first, then wounded, then nearest. So unfortunately the free tech fits the criteria of the first two. So he's ignoring John and firing at the free tech, which means it's going to hit Dogmeat and the Mutant Hound as well, because it's range orange from target, so it's going to catch them both. On fives? Yep, fives. So the first one is a miss. Second one is a hit. So it's because it's no extra dice or anything, it's just 2 flat damage, 2 physical damage, it's not energy. So against the strong armor of the free tech, that's 3 plus 1. He only blocks the 1, so he did actually take 1 damage. Against the Hound's 1 armor, the Hound takes 2. Is that it dead? Yes. The Hound takes 2 damage and dies. And Dogmeat, 1 armor, he blocks 1, takes 1. Oh, I forgot about Dogmeat's strong armor, so it was actually 1 plus 1, so he did fully block the damage. The free tech did take 1 damage though, and yeah, that Super Mutant Hound has just been incinerated to a crisp. I'm going to activate John next. Otherwise, I really should just be calling him Jonathan because he always misses his shots, but this is his chance to not do that. Only person really in range that's not engaged is the Nightkin, who can be seen because they've shot, just to be clear, which I think I've already said, but either way. 2 point blank shots with a 44 short range, and with his speciality that puts him at 6s. So that's a hit for triple armor break, so that's just 2 flat damage then. So 2 damage, let's apply that right now so don't forget. That's the Nightkin up to 4 of 7. And then the second shot, prove me wrong, John. Sadly not, which is a shame because you might have killed it. Let's see, would you have killed it? No, okay. So the Super Mutant down here activated, and he also wants to go after the objective, aka kill the Caravaneers. Either way, moved up yellow, and he's to take a shot because otherwise he wasn't in range. And he prioritises wounded, so he's going after the one that can die in 1 hit. Hitting on 4s, thank goodness he missed, because that would have been 3 damage, and doesn't have an armor roll to save. Well, he can save 1 damage of it, but either way he would have died. Well, thanks to that Super Mutant moving up, it put him comfortably in short range of the Settler, and she has been doing well, although I probably just jinxed her now. So I'm going to do 2 short range shots with that hunting rifle of hers. No extra bonus die because Super Mutants are their own classification, they don't count as creatures. So it's 2 yellow dice at short range as opposed to the 2 green. The green might be better because it improves our chances to hit, because Super Mutants don't have a ton of armor. Either way though, these have some minuses on them. 6s for a shot. That would be a 6 on the dot, but it comes down to a 5. It breaks the 1 armor he has, and that does 2 damage. Yep, 2 damage. So that is him up to 5 of his 7. 6. He has 1 health left. Can you finish the job? They have 1 less than Nightkin. A fail with a quick action. With the quick action, she will prepare. Well, it's time to see how tanky Pennyworth is, because the Super Mutant with the sledgehammer is going to swing it at his face, or eyeballs, I don't know. Twice, 2 yellow dice thrown in. Thankfully he's a normal Super Mutant, not an Overlord or whoever it is that model is supposed to represent, because otherwise he'd be getting extra strength dice, and this is on 6s. That is a hit. Puts Pennyworth down to 2 physical armor. He didn't block any of it. You're not being tanky today. That's 2 damage right away. Was not expecting that, so I didn't have damage tokens ready, of course. Hubris, second swing, is also a hit. Oh no. 2 damage, 3 damage, 2 armor. Okay, he only takes 1 more. Could have been worse. Well, we've still got that Super Mutant up on the tower there to contest with, but for now I'm activating the free tech. He's moving down here, and he's going to shoot his shotgun into the face of that Super Mutant to try and kill them. Here we go. Nope, which is a shame because it would have been 4 damage. So the Super Mutant up here doesn't want to do the objective this turn, he just wants to attack, and the closest wounded target is Pennyworth, so he's going to shoot into the combat there with +2 bonus to his skill at short range with the pipe rifle. It's green plus yellow, so that puts his skill up to 6. That's a hit thanks to the -3, so it would be it would be 1 and 3 is Pennyworth, because you have to count round like that. Yep, it is hitting Pennyworth for 2 damage versus his 3 armour. He only blocked 1, so he did take 1 more. That's him up to 4 damage there. And then the other shot is also a hit. 1 and 3 is Pennyworth. Yeah, it's hitting him. 2 damage versus 3 armour. He blocked 1 again. He took 1. Is that enough to take him out? How much is that? That's 5. And Pennyworth has 6 health. He's alive on 1. Now we are just down to my activations, but I totally forgot about the Settler's Repair, so I'm going to say that it's going to activate off of this Supermutant up here firing. Snapshotting plus it being in cover means she needs 2s or less on this shot, but it's 2 greens, so never mind, that's a 10. Okay, she missed. I moved the Soul Survivor up yellow, then he's going to fire the Incendiary Assault Rifle long range at the Supermutant up here, who's been firing with too much impunity. Either way, it's down to 3s unfortunately, but that's a crit for 1 extra damage. And sadly not anything from there. I think it, yeah. Well, actually, it says a star equals set on fire, but that's a Ballcat plus star. Does that mean it does both? Sure, let's say he's on fire just for funsies. Either way, though, that's 3 damage versus, thanks to the cover, 2 armour. And he blocked none of it, so he took 3. Dogmeat charged in to help out Pennyworth, taking a black die's charge bonus and a green die for outnumbered on 6s. That's a crit fail. That sucks. Well, you know what? Let's just quickly do Pennyworth, and then it's just over to the Carabineers moving up the road. So Pennyworth is normally just a yellow with his buzzsaw, but he took a black charge bonus he is yet to use. Let me just make sure of that. Yep. So this is on 6s, first hit. Oh, green for outnumbered bonus, although that was a crit fail anyway, or a quick action fail, so it doesn't matter for the first one. We lose the black die. Do it again. It is a crit. Those numbers were not needed. 2 damage versus 1 armour. Block none of it. Okay. So the 2 Carabineers have moved up their yellow at the end of a turn, and then they're both taking shots. I'm going to probably fire them both at the Nightkin to try and take it out with their 10mm pistols. It's on 6s. This is the first one firing. He hit, so that's 2 damage versus 1 armour. 2 more damage goes through. The Nightkin has 1 health left, just because they're scared of the incinerator hitting them both, so it seemed like a good idea to get rid of them. And the other one firing is another crit for 3 damage, doesn't matter what they roll on that. They just took out the Nightkin. Thank you for playing. Good riddance. So it turns out the Settlers of New Hope can be pretty scary if all their shots land for a change, because at the end of turn 2, there's only 2 super mutants left on the table, and they're both wounded. So let's see what's applying as we go into turn 3 here, although they absolutely could still kill the Carabineers for the record. Downpour climbing tests, -2. So as we start turn 3, I think I said there was 2 super mutants left. There's 3, although one of them is very, very close to death. So the one up here is activating first as randomly selected, and he wants to attack, thankfully, not just specifically go after the objective, because the closest wounded person is still Pennyworth. Probably going to take him out, but hey, up to 6s because he's shooting into combat. Not good enough. Okay, second shot. Not good enough. Perfect. Oh, and of course he takes 1 damage from being on fire, and we have to check to see whether he stays on fire. X means it goes out. It goes out. So I feel like I should really be going after the Supermutant with 5 damage to try and take him out, but I want to activate Pennyworth while he's still alive, because the Supermutant is going to kill him when he activates almost certainly. So I'm going with Pennyworth, attacking the Supermutant, and green dice for outnumbered on 6s. That is a hit, breaks the 1 armor they have, so that is 2 damage right there. Perfect. And then the other shot, that is also okay. He just did 4 damage, that's him up to 6 in total. Is that him dead? Super mutants, normal super mutants. He just killed it. I don't believe it. That's how you do it apparently. New Hope is scary when shots and hits land. So as it's steadily looking like we've got this in the bag, the super mutant down here is attacking aggressively, doesn't care about the objective. So the closest weakest is Pennyworth, who's going to try and shoot him, and it is in short range. It's on 4s. That's a hit, breaks 1 armor. That's 2 damage versus 2 armor. He blocks none of it. Pennyworth is down. He didn't do as well as he normally does, but he still did really decent at the end there. So that means he's got another action. Closest weakest would then be the Settler. The Carabineer, I mean. But not in short range. No, I would say in short range. So that's a shot against him. Through the barricade though, so I would say that's cover. And he missed regardless. Well, let's see if the free tech can finish the job on this super mutant down here. 2 point blank shotgun blasts, or maybe one if it's not quite enough. One shy, needs to be 3 or less. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, that is 3 damage. It's already killed him, even if he blocks the 1. Nope. Shotgun blast, splat into the fence. He's paced. The sole survivor is taking 2 long range shots from the incendiary assault rifle up at the super mutant again. So his skill is down to a 3. That's a hit. Bottle caps do nothing. But that is 2 against 2 armor thanks to the buff from being in cover. He blocked 1, took 1. So that puts him at 5. We'll just flip that over, take those away. There we go. And then the other shot. Robin gets another shot. That's a big miss, but that's okay. Well, I would have put him on fire, which would have been great, but that's okay. Well, let's see if we can finish things off here. The Settler is shooting up at the super mutant as well, long range with the Hunter's Hunting Rifle double green. Her 6 comes down to a skill 4, which is not quite enough. That's a 5. And then the other shot comes down to a 6. So sadly not. The last super mutant wins, doesn't win, lives. Dogmeat can't climb, so there's nothing he can do. I'll show where he ends up along with the the Carabineers in a second. Sorry, Dogmeat can climb. He just has a rule that says he can't end mid-climb, which isn't even a thing I was aware you could do. So, but it doesn't matter though, because instead I'm going to use him to do a little running over here for a potential item. So let's see what he's found. He actually did find literally just an item. So let me just grab the... There we are. Oh, there we are. Almost dropped them. The item curated, well, semi-curated cards. Good mixture in here. I'm going to cut the deck twice and say we found this. Oh, you know what? That's the bottom card. I already know what that is. So that'd be cheating. Let's take this one. He's found a 3-piece suit, which raises your perception and charisma. Not exactly high priority. So again, the turn ends with the Carabineer just moving up. You know, I've realised I didn't go with John that turn either, so he could get some shots, although honestly the Carabineers could end it here, while everyone else is just kind of standing around and then a dog comes back wearing a 3-piece suit. It reminds me of the very first time I played Fallout 4 actually. I had Nick Valentine following me. He wandered off during a firefight and then I literally just turned around and he was wearing a set of power armor he found somewhere. It's very funny. Anyway, sorry, random aside. They're shooting into the super mutant up there. So it's down to 4. Miss. And then the other one, well, maybe John will have to do it. It's also a miss, so John's going to have to do it. I'm just counting them as being able to see through these gaps, incidentally. Technically the corner's there, but you know, it's just let him fire. So let's do that with John. I believe he's in range blue. Yeah. He's in range blue, so that's 2 yellows. His 6 comes back down to a 4, or it's his skill 6. With pistols. It would be up to 6 because of his speciality, so yeah, it comes back down to 4. That's a miss. And that's a hit with the minus. It blows away the bonus armor, so 2 damage versus 1. He doesn't block it, and that was his 6th point of damage. So John, not Jonathan, he gets to be John. He actually did just take the super mutant out, and he fell down. He landed in the campfire, and he made a tasty meal for the rest of them, presumably. So with the immediate super mutant threat gone, the Carabineers, both of whom are still alive, although one of them was heavily wounded, bid their farewell to New Hope as they leave their territory and head north. Safe, secure, and we're 200 caps richer as a result. So besides the 2 sets of power armor that we are obviously bringing back, these 2 get automatically retained because they're uniques, which technically means we might as well return both of these. I feel like a single boost card is wasting a slot though, so I'm just going to discard it, and that means we can keep food from our farm next time and potentially bring it into combat so we have some healing, which seems like a good idea. Speaking of which, you'll be seeing this the day of or the day before I film the next one, and you might be wondering why there is not a community poll up this time. That's because the next episode being filmed does not require a vote due to the nature of what's happening in it, without going into any spoilers yet. So there won't be a vote for that one, but going forwards after that until the end of the season, there should be a vote every single week. The next week is just the exception until the finale. To address something in the comments that somebody said about you should really upgrade your settlers because they do rubbish. This is what happens when they actually land hits. When my dice rolls are average or better instead of always bad. So they felt super overpowered this time, but that again is purely just because their hits were landing. It feels really, really good when they consistently land their damage. But in a theoretical third season, I am looking at some permanent upgrades just to raise the base level of the characters present. But that's a theoretical thing for a theoretical third season. We're only just over halfway through this season. Have to see how things are by the end of it, etc., where I want to take it. But I hope you enjoyed though, and if you did, please do consider subscribing to see more, or if you want to go above and beyond, supporting the Patreon or pressing the thanks button is a great way to support the channel. It's all reinvested in the channel as well, because miniature games do be addictive. And yeah, next time stay tuned for another adventure and nonsense, and hopefully this level of landing hits continues, because this felt great. This felt like they were confident and just really excellent at taking out threats. The past couple of them have felt really rough, but yeah, this was great, so hopefully that continues. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will hopefully see you next week. Until then, ta-ta for now.